Now we're gonna introduce Chilgok Church and some of the Daegu Church members. So Brother Hyunjin is gonna pull up the PPT. So here I'll go over some of our fellowships that we have monthly. Some of the things that's been happening lately as far as new events, newcomers.
What's FMD?
Oh, Foreign Mission Department, FMD. Official. We're gonna get badges soon too. So here's a picture of me, and then a picture of actually, Brother Remy's actually a model part-time, I think. So the reason why it's me and Brother Remy up there is because for a long time, it's just been me and him pretty much. Me at Chilgok Church and Brother Remy in Daegu Church. So we've been pretty isolated as foreigners in this church. So it's been very hard the last like 3-4 years. And I'll get into some of the other stuff personally in my testimony, but yeah, we started out pretty secluded, and there was some, I guess you would call it like political stuff where Remy couldn't really join Chilgok Church for a while. But now we have a lot of foreigners joining, and this is something new. This is something that's happened, and I'd say the last 6 months. Here's some pictures when Chris was leaving. We had a Bible seminar. Here's in Gumi Church. We had a performance for the winter retreat. So that's why we're dressed up. We did a performance of the song Tribes. So it was pretty awesome. So some of the fellowships we have. This fellowship, it's a Leaders PPT fellowship. So the purpose of this fellowship is me and Brother Remy, we're being trained to give like a Bible seminar. So we're making our own Bible seminar slides. So it's going to be a long process, but actually Brother Remy already has a lot of experience doing it. My first one was pretty terrible, I remember. So here's our first fellowship. It was Pastor Kim Johan from Suwon. This was last month. This was our first one. And here in the picture is a Q&A. So we prepared questions beforehand and we gave them to Pastor Kim. So it was a lot of good questions he got to answer, and it was a really good fellowship. Here's our song we did last month. What was it? Still. Sister Moore in the middle there, she'll be here. And then Sister Jasmine too, she'll come later. Here's a picture with Pastor Kim and some of the foreigners. Oh yeah, one of the sisters from Myanmar. She joins when she can. I think she was busy tonight, right? Here's our first. The first outdoor activity we had 2 months ago. We did some hiking. I was gonna have Jason and Maya explain how the hiking went. But it was an unexpected journey. I'll just say that. It was really fun though. It ended up being a much longer hike than we thought, but it was fun. Here's the second outdoor activity. We watched a movie. It was Left Behind, about the rapture. It's the one that they put in the Bible seminar sometimes. So we watched that. We played some games, some foot volleyball. We had a campfire. And then this was this month's activity. We went bowling in Gumi. So that was really fun. Oh yeah, so the purpose of these outdoor events is pretty much to get foreigners comfortable outside of a church setting. Because evangelizing foreigners, we found that it's not always easy to just bring them to church right away. You know, sometimes you need to bring them to an event outside of church and just get to know them. we don't want to just shove God down their throat. We don't want them to be overwhelmed. So it's a long process. Some it's harder to evangelize some than others, but it's definitely a learning process. Oh, so here's some Bible seminars we had. In the top left, that's my wife's summer with Sister Moore. Top right, what is that one? Oh, that's when Brother Charles got saved a couple weeks ago. And then bottom left is that Lovely's? Lovely's, she just got saved last week. And that's Sister Lovely in the bottom right picture there.
Nice, lovely.
Yeah, Lovely. I don't know, that might be her nickname, but I'm sure she has a real name. I don't know what it is though. Here's the English Bible seminar we had in October. It was just a video from Pastor Kim, his 5-session seminar on YouTube. This was the first Bible seminar we had for the foreigners, the first big one that we had. There's Sister Michelle, she's in the States right now. There's Brother Jason with Brother Apollos. There's some of the Philippine sisters, Sister Amor, Sister Hannah, Rose. She doesn't really join much, but we're trying to get her to join more often. There's Chris, that's Rose's husband. Some more Philippine sisters. And then this is the seminar. And then this is a future seminar we're going to be having in a couple months. In May 5th through 7th. So Pastor Choi is actually coming and he's going to give a live seminar. So that's going to be a blessing. So we're going to start inviting people pretty soon. And if anybody can join, I know it's far, but it'd be a good chance to see Pastor Choi in person. And we're hoping that goes well. And thank you so much for those listening to those introductions. So I wasn't the one that was supposed to give a testimony today, but I'm going to give a testimony. I was planning on not giving a salvation testimony, so I'll just give a Christian life testimony of how my Christian life's been going recently. Like I said before, these English or foreign fellowships that we've been having, it's something very new. I think the start of this was like the summertime when this started happening. And before that, like I said, it was just me and Brother Remy in our different churches. We met, sometimes when we could, but it wasn't very often. And about 3 years ago, I actually fell out of the fellowship for a while. I just kind of got overwhelmed with the lack of fellowship. There was nobody I could talk to here in Chilgok Church where I could explain myself deeply. And I know it's nobody's fault, but I could have endured, but I just kind of gave up. And so I ended up stopping coming to this church for a while. And I just didn't go to church at all. And I remember during that time, Brother Remy, Sister Ion, and Summer, there's just monthly, they would try to bring me back to the church. And Brother Hyunjun, Mr. Park, they would try to contact me, but I would avoid them at all costs. Looking back on that now, it's something that I'm very ashamed of. But it was just something I was dealing with at the time. I just wasn't making time for church, wasn't making time for God. I would wake up every day and consciously make the decision to not obey God. Because as a born-again Christian, you can't avoid God, but you can disobey Him if you choose. So that went on for about a year. And I remember the way I got out of that rut was Remy, Ion, and Summer, they came to me and they said, we should have a Bible seminar and you should invite your coworker, Drew. And I was like, I didn't want to, but I thought about it and I was like, this is my main purpose as a Christian, is to evangelize. So if somebody's showing their willingness to help me out to evangelize my coworker, how can I say no? So I said yes, and I invited Drew, but I told myself, I hope he doesn't say yes, but I told myself, if he says yes to watching the Bible seminar, of course I'll join. And I asked him, and he said yes right away. I was pretty shocked. And then, so we all watched the Bible seminar at he's gone now, but Joe's house, and yeah, that was a crazy experience for me because I know going into it, I just wasn't in the right mindset. I was like, what am I doing? I'd rather just be going to the gym or something. And then at the end, Drew ended up not being saved though. He didn't. I guess he didn't really grasp the gospel. I don't think he thought that it applied to him personally. So, but towards the end, when it was finished, my salvation testimony popped up on YouTube in the recommended videos. So we watched it, and then I just remember crying so hard, like, I was thinking, like, just remembering what Jesus did and how I was acting. Like Jesus died for all my sin, but I'm treating it like it was no big deal. So I just remember falling back on the couch and like just saying, thank you, Jesus. And then even though I was acting so bad as a Christian at that time, I know Jesus was there the whole time, just waiting for me to come back. He wasn't far away, but I was the one distancing myself. So after that, since then, that was about 3 years ago, I've been coming to church consistently, and but that wasn't the last hiccup. I had another hiccup where I again got tired of the lack of fellowship that I was having, because I was like, it's just hard just watching a sermon in a room by yourself on a video every Sunday, and I got tired of it. So I ended up not stopping coming to this church, but I ended up going to another church at the same time near the base. And while I was there, I found that they weren't teaching anything wrong. They weren't teaching anything dangerous. And I was having pretty good fellowship, like talking about God, talking about the Bible. Of course, that feels good to talk about. But after like 6 months of going there, every time I went there, I couldn't help but think there's a difference in focus. They weren't focused on evangelism. The strength of this church that we're in now is everybody's focused on the same thing. Everybody's focused on preaching the gospel. And that's so important because I saw people going in and out of that church that I ended up going to, and they're just there to watch a sermon and leave and then continue in their lifestyle. There's no conviction. There's no telling them you need salvation, And I told the pastor about this. I said, why don't you make your own Bible seminar? And I showed him Pastor Kim's seminar, but I think he took it as an insult. Like, this is my church. I have a style that I want to stick to. So I kind of felt out of place for doing that. So eventually, I think God naturally led me back out of that fellowship. I have nothing against them, but I know this is where I need to focus my time and my energy, because the true gospel is preached here and it's focused on here. So you see that in the Bible seminars we have. There's always a chance for people to hear the gospel here, and that's everybody's focus. So I'd say in the last 6 months, about when my mom came, we had a fellowship here. I don't remember how it started, but I think me and Remy got together and we were like, we got to do something. We can't just keep, doing what we're doing, because no foreigners are coming. So we got together with Mr. Park, Hyunjun. My mom was still here at that time, and we just decided to have a gathering one Sunday and just invite as many foreigners as we could. And I remember Maya joined that day, Jason joined that day, a bunch of people that aren't here right now joined. And from that day, it's just been our focus has been on preaching the gospel to foreigners. And that's the day when we really started working together, because we've seen that foreigners are willing to come, but we can't do it individually. We can't make this happen individually. So not too long after that, we started this FMD team. We just, at first it was kind of random. We were just trying to make fellowships for the foreigners, but now we're being led by Brother Park, and we've had the fellowships that I mentioned in the introduction, and it's been going well. I mean, Brother Charles got saved a couple weeks ago. Jason got saved recently. Lovely got saved a couple days ago. More and Hannah, and then Sister Mayhem there. It's been amazing. And what I've learned in this whole experience is I can't isolate myself like I did before. It's just not an option anymore. In Proverbs 18:1, it says, "A man who isolates himself seeks his own desire. He rages against all wise judgment." So I know I can't go back to because my flesh loves to be alone. I'm a loner. I don't like speaking in front of people. I just don't enjoy it. But Hebrews 10, verse 24 and 25 in the NLT says, "Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works, and let us not neglect our meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near." So my goal now is to never be alone. I need to work together with the brothers and sisters, because that's the only way that God can work through us, is if we continue to work together. And I'm so thankful to have Brother Remy, Sister Ayun, Brother Apollos, Brother Henry, everybody, Brother Jason. You guys have been a blessing. My goal is to encourage everybody, and do that, they can encourage me. I learn a lot through all these brothers and sisters that I've been working with, and I just hope and pray that we can continue to faithfully do the work of God through these fellowships that we have. I think it's huge that there's a pastor coming here every month. That's something I never thought would happen here. And God has been so good to us lately in such a short amount of time. So I really just hope I can stay faithful and keep sacrificing my time, my energy for the growing of this FMD. So thank you guys for listening to my testimony.